In the deepest corners of Windsor Castle, behind velvet-draped vaults and sealed doors, lie some of the most breathtaking tiaras ever created. Jewels so powerful, so rich with meaning, that even a queen refused to wear them. Queen Mary, one of the most calculated and commanding women in royal history, assembled the largest jewelry collection the monarchy had ever seen. And yet, hidden within that treasure trove were tiaras she never touched. Not once, not even in private. These weren't forgotten relics, they were deliberate rejections. Some carried political weight too heavy for their time. Others were soaked in memories too personal to bear. But together, they reveal a deeper truth, one that no crown could ever capture, because sometimes true power isn't about what you show, it's about what you choose to hide. So why would a queen with the world's most valuable gems lock them away forever? What secrets did she protect behind every jewel left unworn? And what do these untouched tiaras say about the price of duty, legacy, and silence? The Oriental Circlet is one of the most mesmerizing royal tiaras ever created, a masterpiece of 2,600 diamonds and originally set with Queen Victoria's favourite opals. Designed in 1853 by Prince Albert himself, it was never meant to be just jewellery. It was a message, a shimmering tribute to British imperial power, blending Western craftsmanship with Eastern symbolism. But when Queen Mary inherited this extraordinary piece in 1910, she never wore it, not once. Not at the Delhi Durbar, not at state banquets, not even for private portraits. And the reason wasn't vanity, it was strategy. By the time Mary received the Oriental Circlet, the political climate had shifted. The empire was under pressure, colonial resistance was growing, and wearing a tiara that celebrated imperial dominance over India could have been seen as dangerously outdated, even offensive. Instead of discarding it, Mary did something far more powerful. She preserved it, untouched, waiting for the right moment. That moment came 35 years later, when the Queen Mother wore it to the 1937 coronation, transforming it from a symbol of power into one of artistic heritage and royal continuity. But not all her rejections were political. Some were deeply personal. The Adelaide fringe tiara wasn't just a piece of jewellery, it was a royal obligation. Created using diamonds from King George III, it was gifted to Queen Adelaide in 1830 and later classified as an official heirloom of the crown. It represented continuity, a silent expectation that each new queen would carry the past forward, quite literally on her head. Queen Mary inherited this historic tiara in 1910 and wore it only once for a single official portrait. That image reveals everything. The tiara sparkles, but her expression doesn't. It was clear that this piece, as grand as it was, didn't reflect her. Instead of being bound by tradition, Mary made a bold choice. In 1919, she commissioned a completely new fringe tiara designed with her own diamonds and vision. That tiara would go on to be worn by 3 generations, famously breaking on Queen Elizabeth II's wedding day. By retiring the Adelaide fringe, Mary didn't erase history. She reshaped it, proving that tradition should inspire, not imprison. But while this decision was revolutionary, the next one was heartbreaking, because it meant dismantling a tiara that was built on love. The Ladies of England tiara was never meant to be dismantled. It was crafted in 1893, not by royals or aristocrats, but by 650 women from across the British Empire. A collective wedding gift for Princess May, the future Queen Mary. It was a gesture of love, loyalty, and hope for her future reign. This tiara wasn't just elegant, it was deeply versatile. It could transform into a necklace, corsage, or brooch. And in her early years, Mary wore it proudly, understanding the emotional weight behind each diamond. But the moment she became queen, everything changed. In a world shaken by suffrage movements, social upheaval, and a shifting empire, Mary realized she needed to project strength, not sentiment. So she made a decision that shocked many. She had the tiara dismantled. Its diamonds were used to create the Gloucester honeysuckle tiara for Princess Alice. The pearls helped form what would later become one of the most iconic royal pieces in the world, the Lover's Knot tiara, worn by Princess Diana and now Catherine, Princess of Wales. Mary didn't destroy the love she was given. She transformed it into legacy. But not all sacrifices are chosen. Some are simply forced by the weight of what comes next. The Surrey fringe tiara was yet another wedding gift, presented to Princess May in 1893 by the County of Surrey. At first glance, it perfectly matched a nearly identical fringe necklace gifted to her by Queen Victoria. Mary wore it in her early years, including during an official portrait taken in Ottawa in 1901. But as her collection grew and her understanding of royal symbolism deepened, she began to see redundancy where others saw luxury. Instead of keeping two similar pieces, she made a bold move. The tiara was dismantled and its diamonds repurposed. Some were used in the creation of the Gloucester honeysuckle tiara, while others added brilliance to her beloved Girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara, which remains one of the most iconic crowns in royal history. This wasn't destruction, it was evolution. Mary understood that jewellery, like royalty itself, must adapt to stay meaningful. Even when the gift came from love, she knew when to sacrifice beauty for legacy. But not every tiara she rejected was about power or practicality. One was simply too sacred, too bound to memory, and Mary couldn't bear to wear it. The Tech Crescent tiara wasn't just a royal heirloom. It was a fragment of Queen Mary's childhood memories. Crafted around 1863 for her mother, Princess Mary Adelaide, it featured a celestial design of 21 diamond crescents intertwined with wild roses. It was made from diamonds passed down from Princess Mary, Duchess of Gloucester, a tiara rich with ancestral meaning. Mary grew up watching this tiara shimmer at her parents' wedding and countless royal events. It wasn't just beautiful, it was maternal love captured in diamonds. And when it eventually came into Mary's possession in the 1930s, she faced an impossible choice. It was perfectly suited to her taste for historic pieces, but emotionally, it belonged to someone else, to her mother's legacy. Wearing it would have felt like stepping into a memory too sacred to relive. So Mary did something profoundly respectful. She never wore it publicly, and instead passed it to her daughter-in-law, Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother, who first wore it in 1939, giving it new life without erasing its past. It was a quiet act of love. But not all of Mary's decisions were so intimate. One tiara, her most modern, would remain hidden for nearly a century. The diamond bandeau tiara was unlike anything else in Queen Mary's collection. Commissioned in 1932, it was created specifically to showcase the County of Lincoln brooch, a gift she had received as a young bride. But this wasn't a traditional royal piece. It was a bold statement of modern design, with 11 flexible diamond sections that moved like liquid light. Its style was pure Art Deco, sleek, geometric, minimalist, a departure from the ornate grandeur of older tiaras. It reflected everything Mary had learned after decades of collecting jewellery, and yet she never wore it in public. By the 1930s, Mary was entering her 60s. Her time as a public-facing queen had passed, and she knew that this design, daring and contemporary, didn't suit her role anymore. It wasn't meant for her, it was meant for the future. So she locked it away, waiting for the right moment, the right woman, the right era. That moment finally came in 2018, when Meghan Markle wore the diamond bandeau on her wedding day. The world was captivated, and few realised the tiara had been waiting in silence for nearly 100 years. But Mary's legacy wasn't just about what she saved, it was about the message hidden behind every jewel she chose not to wear. Queen Mary's story wasn't just written in diamonds, it was written in silence. Each tiara she never wore speaks louder than the ones she did. Not out of fear, but out of vision, sacrifice, and restraint. She understood something few truly grasp, that sometimes real power means stepping back, not forward. By hiding these pieces, she didn't diminish their beauty. She preserved it. For a time, a message, a woman who hadn't yet arrived. And when they finally resurfaced, they meant more than crowns ever could. So what do you think? Would you wear a tiara that belonged to someone else's legacy? Should tradition be passed down or reinvented? And which of Queen Mary's unworn jewels spoke to you the most? Let me know in the comments. And if you love stories that hide beneath the surface, don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more untold royal histories. Sometimes, the tiaras we never see are the ones we remember most.